Alright, well, we're here, still at Prospect Park in Brooklyn. We're going to keep going. We're on Venus and Adonis. This is line 481. The night of sorrow now is turned to day. Her two blue windows faintly she upheaveth. Like the fair sun, when in his fresh array he cheers the morn and all the earth relieveth. And as the bright sun glorifies the sky, so is her face illumined with her eye. Whose beams upon his hairless face are fixed, as if from thence they borrowed all their shine. Were never four such lamps together mixed, had not his clouded with his brows repined. But hers, which through the crystal tears gave light, shone like the moon in water seen by night. Oh, where am I, quoth she, in earth or heaven, or in the ocean drenched, or in the fire? What hour is this, or morn, or weary even? Do I delight to die, or life desire? But now I lived, and life was death's annoy. But now I died, and death was lively joy. Oh, thou didst kill me once again. Thy eyes, shrewd tutor, that hard heart of thine, hath taught them scornful tricks and such disdain, that they have murdered this poor heart of mine. And these mine eyes, true leaders to their queen, but for thy piteous lips no more had seen. Long may they kiss each other for this cure. Oh, never let their crimson liveries wear, and as they last their verdure still endure, to drive infection from the dangerous year. That the stargazers, having writ on death, may say the plague is banished but by thy breath. Pure lips, sweet seals in my soft lips imprinted, what bargains may I make, still to be sealing? To sell thyself I can be well content, so thou wilt buy and pay and use good dealing. Which purchase if thou make, for fear of slips, set thy seal manual on my wax-red lips. 1,000 kisses buys my heart from thee, and pays them at thy leisure one by one. What is 1,000 touches unto thee? Are they not quickly told and quickly gone? Say for non-payment that the debt should double, is 2,000 kisses such a trouble? Fair queen, quoth he, if any love you owe me, measure my strangeness with my unripe years. Before I know myself, seek not to know me. No fisher but the ungrown fry forbears. The mellow plum doth fall, the green sticks fast, or being early plucked is sour to taste. Look, the world's comforter with weary gait, his day's hot task hath ended in the west. The owl, night's herald, shrieks, 'tis very late. The sheep are gone to fold, birds to their nest, and cold black clouds that shadow heaven's light do summon us to part and bid good night. Now let me say good night, and so say you, if you will say so, you shall have a kiss. Good night, quoth she, and ere he says adieu, the honey fee of parting tendered is. Her arms do lend his neck a sweet embrace. Incorporate then they seem, face grows to face. Till breathless he disjoined and backward drew the heavenly moisture that sweet coral mouth, whose precious taste her thirsty lips well knew, whereon they surfeit, yet complained on drought. He with her plenty pressed, till faint with dearth, their lips together glued fall to the earth. Now quick desire hath caught the yielding prey, and glutton-like she feeds, yet never filleth. Her lips are conquerors, his lips obey, praying what ransom the insulter willeth, whose vulture thought doth pitch the price so high, that she will draw his lips till treasure dry. She will draw his lips rich treasure. And having felt the sweetness of the spoil, with blindfold fury she begins to forage. Her faith doth reek and smoke, her blood doth boil, and careless lust stirs up a desperate courage. Planting oblivion, beateth reason back, forgetting shame's pure blush and honor's wrack. Ah, faint and weary, with her hand embracing, like a wild bird being tamed with too much handling, or as the fleet-foot roe that's tired with chasing, or like the forward infant stilled with dandling. He now obeys, and now no more resisteth, while she takes all she can, not all she listeth. What wax so frozen, but dissolves with tempering, and yields at last to every light impression? Things out of hope are compassed oft with venting, chiefly in love, whose leave exceeds commission. Affection faints not like a pale-faced coward, but then moves best when most his choice is forward. When he did frown, oh, had she then gave over such nectar from his lips she had not sucked. Foul words and frowns must not repel a lover. What though the rose have prickles, yet 'tis plucked. Were beauty under 20 locks kept fast, yet love breaks through and picks them all at last. For pity now she can no more detain him. The poor fool prays her that he may depart. She is resolved no longer to restrain him, bids him farewell and look well to her heart. The which by Cupid's bow she doth protest, he carries thence and caged in his breast. Sweet boy, she said, this night I'll waste in sorrow, for my sick heart commands mine eyes to watch. Tell me, love's master, shall we meet tomorrow? Say, shall we, shall we? Wilt thou make the match? He tells her, no, tomorrow he intends to hunt the boar with certain of his friends. The boar, quoth she, whereat a sudden pale, like lawn began to spread upon the blushing rose, usurps her cheek, she trembles at his tail, and on his neck her yoking arm she throws. She sinketh down, still hanging by his neck. He on her belly falls, she on her back. Now is she in the very lists of love, her champion mounted for the hot encounter. All is imaginary she doth prove. He will not manage her, although he mount her. That worse than Tantalus is her annoy, to clip Elysium and to lack her joy. Even so poor birds, deceived with painted grapes, do surf it by the eye and pine the maw. Even so she languisheth in her mishaps, as those poor birds that helpless berries saw. The warm effects which she in him finds missing, she seeks to kindle with continual kissing. But all in vain, good queen, it will not be. She hath essayed as much as may be proved. Her pleading hath deserved a greater fee. She's love, she loves, and yet she is not loved. Fie, fie, he says, you crush me, let me go. You have no reason to withhold me so. Thou hadst been gone, quoth she, sweet boy, ere this. But that thou toldst me thou wouldst hunt the boar. Oh, be advised, thou knowst not what it is with javelin's point, a churlish swine to gore, whose tushes, never sheathed, he whetteth still, like to a mortal butcher bent to kill. On his bowed back he hath a battle set on bristly pikes that ever threat his foes. His eyes like glowworms shine when he doth fret. His snug snout digs sepulchres where he goes. Being moved, he strikes whate'er is in his way, and whom he strikes, his crooked tushes slay. Brawny sides with hairy bristles armed are better proof than thy spear's point can enter. His short thick neck cannot be easily harmed, being eyeful, on the lion he will venture. The thorny brambles and embracing bushes, as fearful of him, part, through whom he rushes. Alas, he not esteems that face of thine, to which love's eyes pay tributary gazes, nor thy soft hands, sweet lips, and crystal eyne, whose full perfection all the world amazes. But having the advantage, wondrous dread, would root these beauties as he roots the mead. But let him keep his loathsome cabin still. Beauty hath naught to do with such foul fiends. Come not within his danger by thy will. They that drive well take counsel of their friends. When thou didst name the boar, not to dissemble, I feared thy fortune, and my joints did tremble. Didst thou not mark my face? Was it not white? Sawest thou not signs of fear lurk in mine eyes? Grew I not faint, and fell I not downright within my bosom, whereon thou dost lie? My boding heart pants, beats, and takes no rest, but like an earthquake shakes thee on my breast. For where love reigns, disturbing jealousy doth call himself affection's sentinel, gives false alarms, suggesteth mutiny, and in a peaceful hour doth cry, kill, kill, distempering gentle love in his desire, as air and water do abate the fire. This sour informer, this bait-breeding spy, this canker that eats up love's tender spring, this carry-tale, dissentious jealousy that sometime true news, sometime false doth bring, knocks at my heart and whispers in mine ear that if I loved thee, I thy death should fear. And more than so presenteth to mine eye the picture of an angry chafing boar, under whose sharp fangs on his back doth lie an image like thyself, all stained with gore, whose blood upon the fresh flowers being shed doth make them droop with grief and hang the head. What should I do, seeing thee so indeed, that tremble at the imagination? The thought of it doth make my faint heart bleed, and fear doth teach it divination. I prophesy thy death, my living sorrow, if thou encounter with the boar tomorrow. But if thou needst wilt hunt, be ruled by me. Uncouple at thy timorous flying hair, or at the fox which lives, uncouple at the timorous flying hare, or at the fox which lives by subtlety, or at the roe which no encounter dare. Pursue these fearful creatures o'er the downs, and on thy well-breathed horse keep within thy hounds. Keep with thy hounds. And when thou hast on foot the purblind hare, mark the poor wretch to overshoot his troubles, how he outruns the wind, and with what care he cranks and crosses with 1,000 doubles. The many musets through the which he goes are like a labyrinth to amaze his foes. Sometime he runs among a flock of sheep to make the cunning hounds mistake their smell, and sometime where earth-delving conies keep to stop the loud pursuers in their yell, and sometimes sorteth with a herd of deer, danger deviseth shifts, wit waits on fear. For there his smell with others being mingled, the hot scent snuffing hounds are driven to doubt, ceasing their clamorous cry till they have singled with much ado the cold fault cleanly out. Then do they spend their mouths, echo replies, as if another chase were in the skies. By this poor Wat, far off upon a hill, stands on his hinder legs with listening ear, to hearken if his foes pursue him still. Anon their loud alarms he doth hear. And now his grief may be compared well to one sore sick that hears the passing bell. Then shalt thou see the dew-bedabbled wretch turn and return, indenting with the way. Each envious briar his weary legs do scratch, each shadow makes him stop, each murmur stay. For misery is trodden on by many, and being low, never relieved by any. Lie quietly and hear a little more. Nay, do not struggle, for thou shalt not rise, to make thee hate the hunting of the boar. Unlike myself, thou hearest me moralize, applying this to that and so to so, for love can comment upon every woe. Where did I leave? No matter where, quoth he. Leave me. And then the story aptly ends. The night is spent. Why, what of that? Quoth she. I am, quoth he, expected of my friends, and now 'tis dark, and going I shall fall. In night, quoth she, desire sees best of all. But if thou fall, oh then imagine this. The earth in love with thee thy footing trips, and all is but to rob thee of a kiss. Rich praise make true men thieves, do so do thy lips. Make modest Dian cloudy and forlorn, lest she should steal a kiss and die forsworn. Now of this night I perceive the reason. Cynthia for shame obscures her silver shine, till forging nature be condemned of treason for stealing molds from heaven that were divine. Wherein she framed thee in high heaven's despite, to shame the sun by day and her by night. And therefore hath she bribed the destinies to cross the curious workmanship of nature, to mingle beauty with infirmities, and pure perfection with impure defeature, making it subject to the tyranny of mad mischances and much misery. As burning fevers are agues pale and faint, life-poisoning pestilence and frenzies wood, the marrow-eating sickness whose attained disorder breeds by heating of the blood. Surfeits, imposthumes, grief and damned despair, sweet nature's death for framing thee so fair. And not the least of all these maladies, but in 1 minute's fight brings beauty under. Both favor, savour, hue, and qualities, whereat the impartial gazer late did wonder, are on the sudden wasted, thawed, and done, as mountain snow melts with midday sun. Therefore, despite of fruitless chastity, love-lacking vestals and self-loving nuns, that on the earth would breed a scarcity and barren dearth of daughters and of sons, be prodigal. The lamp that burns by night dries up his oil to lend the world his light.
What is thy body but a swallowing grave, seeming to bury that posterity, which by the rights of time thou needs must have, if destroy them not in dark obscurity? If so, the world will hold thee in disdain, sith in thy pride so fair a hope is slain. So when thyself art made away, a mischief worse than civil homebred strife, or theirs whose desperate hands themselves do slay, or butcher sire that rears the son of life. Foul cankering rust the hidden treasure frets, but gold that's put to use more gold begets. Nay then, quoth Adonis, you will fall again into your idle overhandled theme. The kiss I gave you is bestowed in vain, and all in vain you strive against the stream. For by this black-faced night, desire's foul nurse, your treatise makes me like you worse and worse. If love lent you 20,000 tongues, and every tongue more moving than your own, bewitching like the wanton mermaid's song, yet from mine ear the tempting tune is blown. For no, my heart stands armed in mine ear, and will not let a false sound enter there, lest the deceiving harmony should run into the quiet closure of my breast, and then my little heart were quite undone in this bedchamber to be barred of rest. No, lady, no, my heart longs not to groan, but soundly sleeps, while now it sleeps alone. What have you urged that I cannot reprove? The path is smooth that leadeth on to danger. I hate not love, but your device in love, that lends embracements unto every stranger. You do it to and for increase, oh strange excuse, when reason is the bawd to lust's abuse. Call it not love, for love to heaven is fled, since sweating lust on earth usurped his name, under whose simple semblance he hath fed, upon fresh beauty blotting it with blame, which the hot tyrant stains and soon bereaves, as caterpillars do the tender leaves. Love comforteth like sunshine after rain, but lust's effect is tempest after sun. Love's gentle spring doth always fresh remain, lust's winter comes ere summer hath begun. Love surfeits not, lust like a glutton dies. Love is all truth, lust full of forged lies. Never true words were ever spoke. More I could tell, but more I dare not say. The text is old, the order too green. Therefore in sadness now I will away. My face is full of shame, my heart of teen. Mine ears that to your wanton talk attended do burn themselves for having so offended. With this he breaketh from the sweet embrace of those fair arms which bound him to her breast, and homeward through the dark lawn runs apace, leaves love upon her back deeply distressed. Look how a bright star shooteth from the sky, so glides he in the night from Venus' eye, which after him she darts, as one on shore gazing upon a late embarked friend, till the wild waves will have him seen no more, whose ridges with the meeting clouds contend. So did the mirthless and pitchy night fold in the object that did feed her sight, whereat amazed as one that unaware hath dropped a precious jewel in the flood, or astonished as night wanderers often are, their light blown out in some mistrustful wood. Even so confounded in the dark she lay, having lost the fair discovery of her way. It's the little words that get me sometimes. Although there may be some blowing going on. And now she beats her heart, whereon it groans that all the neighbor caves, as seeming troubled, make verbal repetition of her moans. Passion on passion is deeply redoubled. Ay me, she cries 20 times, woe, woe, and 20 echoes 20 times cry so. She marking them begins a wailing note and sings extemporally a woeful ditty. How love makes young men thrall and old men dote. How love is wise in folly, foolish, witty. Her anthem still concludes in woe, and still the choir of echoes answers so. Her song was tedious and outwore the night, for lovers' hours are long, though seeming short. It pleased themselves, others they think delight in such like circumstance, with such like sport. Their copious stories, oftentimes begun, end without audience, and are never done. For who hath she to spend the night withal but idle but idle sounds resembling parasites, like shrill-tongued tapsters answering every call, soothing the humor of fantastic wits. She says, "'Tis so." They all answer, "'Tis so," and would say after her if she said no. Lo, hear the gentle lark, weary of rest, from his moist cabinet mounts up on high, and wakes the morning, from whose silver breast the sun ariseth in his majesty. Who doth the world so gloriously behold that cedar tops and hills seem burnished gold? Venus salutes him with this fair good morrow, O thou clear god and patron of all night, from whom each lamp and shining star doth borrow the beauteous influence that makes him bright. There lives a son that sucked an earthly mother, may lend thee light as thou doth lend to other. This said, she hasteth to a myrtle grove, musing the morning is so much o'erworn, and yet she hears no tidings of her love. She hearkens for his hounds and for his horn. Anon she hears them chanted lustily, and all in haste she coasteth to the cry. And as she runs, the bushes in the way, some catch her by the neck, some kiss her face, some twined about her thigh to make her stay. She wildly breaketh from the strict embrace, like a milch doe whose swelling dugs do ache, hasting to feed her fawn hid in some brake. By this she hears the hounds are at a bay, whereat she starts like one that spies an adder wreathed up in fatal folds just in this way, the fear whereof doth make him shake and shudder. Even so the timorous yelpings of the hounds appalls her senses and her spirit confounds. For now she knows it is no gentle chase, but the blunt boar, rough bear, or lion proud, because the cry remaineth in one place, where fearfully the dogs exclaim aloud. Finding their enemy to be so cursed, they all strain courtesy, who shall cope him first? This dismal cry rings sadly in her ear, through which it enters to surprise her heart, who, overcome by doubt and bloodless fear, with cold pale weakness numbs her each feeling part. Like soldiers when their captain once doth yield, they basely fly and dare not stay the field. Thus stands she in a trembling ecstasy, till cheering up her senses all dismayed, she tells them 'tis a causeless fantasy and childish error that they are afraid, bids them leave quaking, bids them fear no more, and with that word she spied the hunted boar, whose frosty mouth be painted all with red, like milk and blood being mingled both together. A second fear through all her sinews spread, which madly hurries her she knows not whither. This way she runs, and now she will no further, but back retires to rate the boar for murder. 1,000 spleens bear her heart, bear her 1,000 ways. She treads the path that she untreads again.
Baby.
Her more than haste is mated with delays, like the proceedings of a drunken brain, full of respects, yet not at all respecting, in hand with all things, not at all affecting.
Sorry, it's dead.
It's dead? Yeah. Did it just die?
I think so, or it might, I can't tell if it's still recording, but the battery is done.
Okay. Here kennelled in a brake she finds a hound, and asks the weary caitiff for his master. And there another licking of his wound, 'gainst venom sores the only sovereign plaster. And here she meets another sadly scowling, to whom she speaks, and he replies with howling. When he hath ceased his ill-resounding noise, another flap-mouthed mourner, black and grim, against the welkin volleys out his voice. Another and another answer him, clapping their proud tails to the ground below, shaking their scratched ears, bleeding as they go. Look how the world's poor people are amazed at apparitions, signs, and prodigies, whereon with fearful eyes they long have gazed, infusing them with dreadful prophecies. So she at these sad signs draws up her breath, and sighing it again, exclaims on death. Hard-favored tyrant, ugly, meager, lean, hateful divorce of love, thus chides she death. Grim grinning ghost, earth's worm, what dost thou mean to stifle beauty and to steal his breath? Who when he lived his breath and beauty set gloss on the rose, smell to the violet. If he be dead, oh no, it cannot be. Seeing his beauty, thou shouldst strike at it. Oh yes, it may. Thou hast no eyes to see, but hatefully at random dost thou hit. Thy mark is feeble age, but thy false dart mistakes that aim and cleaves an infant's heart. Hadst thou but bid beware, then had he spoken, hearing him, thy power had lost his power. The destinies will curse thee for this stroke. They bid thee crop a weed, thou pluck'st a flower. Love's golden arrow at him should have fled, not death's ebon dart to strike him dead. Dost thou drink tears that thou provokest such weeping? What, may a heavy groan advantage thee? Why hast thou casting eternal sleeping those eyes that taught all others eyes to see? Now nature cares not for thy mortal vigor, since her best work is ruined with thy rigor. Here overcome as one full of despair, she veiled her eyelids, who like sluices stopped the crystal tide that from her 2 cheeks fair in their sweet channel of her bosom dropped. But through the floodgates breaks the silver rain, and with his strong course opens them again. Oh, how her eyes and tears did lend and borrow, her eye seen in the tears, tears in her eye, both crystals where they viewed each other's sorrow, sorrow that friendly sighs sought still to dry. But like a stormy day, now wind, now rain, sighs dry her cheeks, tears make them wet again. Variable passions throng her constant woe, as striving who should best become her grief. All entertained, each passion labors so that every present sorrow seemeth chief, but none is best. Then join they all together, like many clouds consulting for foul weather. By this far off she hears some huntsman hallow. A nurse's song ne'er pleased her babe so well. The dire imagination she did follow, this sound of hope doth labor to expel. For now reviving joy bids her rejoice, and flatters her, it is Adonis' voice.